Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're once again going to discuss several leaks that I've managed to find and that I think are quite interesting to talk about. As usual, this information comes from sources that are considered fairly credible, but before we get into the discussion, running out of stellar jade in Honkai starrail? Don't worry, there's a more budget-friendly solution. Now you can top up in-game safely, quickly, and at a lower price through U7 Buy. And it's not just Honkai starrail, other games are available too, all in one place. Still not sure? No problem. You can check U7 Buy's reviews directly on Trustpilot, so it's transparent and trustworthy. For comparison, 80 oniric shards cost around $100 in the official store, but on U7 Buy, it's much cheaper. The process is also instant. Just select your server, enter your UID, and the balance is delivered straight to your account, no hassle. Don't forget to use code BOOM for a 5% discount. Click the link in my description or pinned comment to visit U7 Buy. Now let's move on to the main topic. In the previous video, we discussed in detail the changes to Seal and Wahua in the third Novaflare Beta V1. In this video, we'll specifically talk about the buffs received by the next characters, namely Welt and Firefly. Welt is a 5-star character that we can obtain from the standard banner. Not only that, he is also the first imaginary character in Honkai starrail. The presence of these buffs is quite interesting, considering Welt has a unique ability that can delay enemy actions. Without further ado, let's jump straight into the discussion. In this Novaflare update, Welt undergoes quite a lot of changes, ranging from his skill, ultimate, to eidolons. Let's start with the first change, which is his skill. For his skill, all multiplier scaling and effects are actually still the same. However, now Welt's skill deals damage to one designated enemy and then deals damage 4 additional times, whereas previously it only had 2 extra instances. So now, the total multiplier reaches 360% attack, up from only 216% attack before. In short, the total damage is much higher, and it's easier to trigger the enemy's slow effect. Next is his ultimate, which gets a fairly significant change. The damage multiplier remains the same at 150% attack. However, the imprisoned mechanic changes drastically. Previously, the ultimate would immediately delay enemy actions by 40% and reduce speed by 10%. Now, the new ultimate only gives an initial delay of 12% and reduces speed by 10%. When slow targets are attacked, their actions are delayed by 4%. This effect can trigger up to 8 times per target per turn. Slow lasts for 2 turns. This means the new ultimate becomes much better when your team has a high attack frequency. Next is his talent. The additional damage effect is still there and even increased from 60% to 100%. Additionally, there's a new effect where the talent also reduces enemy def by 40%. Now we move on to Welt's traces, all 3 of which receive changes. The first trace increases the damage taken by enemies from 12% to 35%, which is a very significant improvement. The second trace is completely reworked. Previously, using the ultimate would regenerate 10 energy. Now, when Welt uses a basic attack or skill, it additionally deals 1 extra instance of additional damage to the target. The additional damage from basic attack equals 80% of the basic attack multiplier, while for skill it equals 120% of the skill multiplier. The third trace is also drastically changed. Previously, it dealt 20% more damage to enemies affected by weakness break. Now, if Welt's effect hit rate exceeds 40%, every additional 10% increases his attack by 20%, up to a maximum of 80%. When using his ultimate, he also restores 5 energy. To maximize this, you only need 80% effect hit rate to gain the full 80% attack bonus. Next, we move on to Welt's eidolons, which also receive many changes. Eidolon 1 replaces its previous effect. Now, after using skill or ultimate on a target in the weightless state, it deals one additional instance of imaginary damage equal to 40% of the ultimate multiplier. This can only trigger once per target per attack. Eidolon 4 is also changed. Previously, it increased the base chance of reducing enemy speed by 35% when using skill. Now, when hitting enemies in the slow state with skill or ultimate, it increases crit rate by 20% and crit damage by 50%. Eidolon 6 is also reworked. Previously, it dealt extra damage to a random enemy when using skill. Now, enemies in the weightless state have their all-type rest reduced by 30%. Overall, Welt in Novaflare shifts from a control debuffer into a much stronger and more flexible sub-DPS. His damage increases significantly through skill, talent, and traces, while his utility now relies more on team synergy through stackable delay mechanics. With added effects like def reduction, scaling from effect hit rate, and strong synergy with fast teams, this new version of Welt becomes far more relevant in the meta, both as a damage dealer and a tempo controller. Now, let's move on to the next character, Firefly. Firefly is already quite strong at the moment, especially with the presence of Dahlia. However, for some reason, Hoyoverse decided to buff Firefly, which will obviously make her even stronger. Without further ado, let's jump straight into the discussion. In this Novaflare update, Firefly also receives many changes, including her skill, traces, and eidolons. Let's start with her skill, or more precisely, her enhanced skill. The enhanced skill's multiplier scaling remains unchanged. However, now it applies fire weakness to one target and surrounding enemies. So now, Firefly can immediately apply fire weakness to 3 enemies instead of just one. Next, we move to Firefly's traces. Out of the 3 traces, only the third remains unchanged. The first trace is completely reworked. Previously, it reduced toughness by 55% of the original reduction when attacking enemies without fire weakness. Now, while in the complete combustion state, Sam's break effect increases by 25%. When using enhanced basic attack or enhanced skill to inflict weakness break, the complete combustion countdown is delayed by 10%, up to 3 times per state. This is much better than before, as it allows the combustion state to last longer, up to a 30% delay in total. The second trace keeps the same concept but with improved scaling. Previously, it required 200%, 360% break effect, now reduced to 150%, 300%. When attacking weakness-broken enemies, it converts toughness reduction into super break damage of 35%, 50%, now increased to 100%, 150%. So the requirement is lower, and the damage is significantly higher, up to 3 times more. The final change is on Firefly's Eidolon 2. The effect remains similar, but now the extra turn resets at the start of Sam's turn, whereas before it could only trigger again after 1 turn. Essentially, her extra turn now has no cooldown. Overall, Firefly in Novaflare receives major improvements that make her much more consistent and explosive as a break DPS. Her enhanced skill can now apply fire weakness to multiple enemies, while her trace changes allow complete combustion to last longer and significantly increase super break damage with easier requirements. Additionally, Eidolon 2 having no cooldown makes her rotations far more aggressive. With all these changes, Firefly becomes much more stable and has much higher damage potential in almost all situations. Alright, that concludes our discussion for this time. What are your thoughts on these latest leaks? Are the changes to Welt and Firefly in this Novaflare update satisfying or disappointing? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Don't forget to share this information with fellow Honkai, starrail players who might also be interested in these updates. Your support through likes and subscriptions means a lot to the growth of this channel and ensures you won't miss future updates. See you in the next discussion, and thank you for watching.